Here is a warm, nostalgic Malawian story about the first time going to the maize mill, Chigayo *. My first time going to the maize mill, Chigayo *. I was around 10 years old, the first time my mother trusted me with a full sack of maize and sent me to the Chigayo alone. It was early morning in our village in Baloka Kapaya, the sun still stretching its orange arms across the sky. The air smelled of dew, dust, and distant fires starting in kitchens. My mother tied the sack with a blue rope and looked at me seriously. "You see, Mapila Kokacheza, you can go tha abor." She said it twice, which meant she did not entirely trust that I wouldn't wander off to play with friends. I heaved the sack over my shoulder well. I dragged it at first and began the slow, determined walk to the maize mill. Along the path, children were sweeping yards, roosters crowed like they owned the world, and smoke drifted lazily from houses where breakfast was cooking. As I walked, the sound of the Chigayo grew louder *boo. B-U-U-U-U, B-U-U, B-U-U-U. The familiar roar that every villager knew. When I reached the mill, there was already a long line, mostly women balancing sacks on their heads, as if they were filled with feathers instead of maize. I tried to look confident, while Kokaliti one auntie asked. "Kali," I lied, wiping sweat from my forehead. I placed my sack in the queue and sat on it like the older boys did. The whole place smelled of maize flour, machine oil, and the dust that exploded into the air every time someone poured grain into the hopper. While waiting, I watched the mill operator, an older man with arms like tree trunks, carefully feed maize into the grinding machine. The mill shook and growled like a wild animal as it reduced the kernels into smooth, warm effort. When my turn finally came, I felt proud and scared. The machine was loud and powerful. I handed over my maize, pretending not to flinch when the engine roared. The ground shook beneath my feet like the earth was angry, but I stood still, determined not to embarrass myself. When the flour came out warm, soft, smelling like fresh harvest, I felt like I had accomplished something great. I loaded the bag back onto my shoulder, even though it felt heavier than when I arrived, and began the journey home. Children playing along the road shouted, "Wapita Wahaku Chigayo," and I lifted my head a little higher. When I reached home, my mother opened the sack, checked the flour with her fingers, and gave a small, satisfied nod. "Wakita bueno." Those words felt like a medal pinned to my chest. That night, as we ate soft, steaming ensima made from the very flour I had carried, I felt older, responsible, trusted. It was just a trip to the Chigayo, but for me it was the day I grew up a little.